34 million. That's what a 4-year-old made his parents in a single year. And honestly, they absolutely deserved what came next. Ryan Kaji's story isn't just about child exploitation disguised as family fun. It's about what happens when a parent see $sign instead of their kid's childhood. And after 10 years of turning their son into a content machine, watching their empire crumble feels like justice finally being served. So let's break down how Shion and Loann Kaji built a $1 billion YouTube empire of their own son, and how their greed slowly destroyed everything. It started innocent enough. 2015, Ryan's 3 years old, obsessed with YouTube, specifically EventTube, another kid unboxing toys. He tells his mom he wants to do the same thing. She thinks, why not? They film him opening a Lego train set. The channel grows slowly. Just a family having fun. Then came the video that changed everything. A giant lightning McQueen surprise egg. Over 100 Disney cat toys inside. Ryan's reaction was pure, unfiltered 3-year-old excitement. The kind you genuinely can't fake. 1.2 billion views. That's not a typo. Billion. With a B. This video transformed the Kajis family overnight, from regular Texas household to one of the biggest kid channels on YouTube. And here's where everything went wrong, because Shion and Loann face a choice that every parent in their position has to face. Do you treat this a wonderful fluke moment your child gets to enjoy? Or do you look at these numbers, do the math, see the potential, and start thinking about what comes next? The Kajis made their choice pretty quickly. They quit their jobs, structural engineer and high school chemistry teacher, and went all in on Ryan. On the surface, this sounds supportive, believing in your kid, but look at what they actually built, and this framing falls apart fast. They formed Sunlight Entertainment, a fully production company. At its peak, over 30 employees. Think about that for a second. 30 people on full salaries, benefits, production cost, equipment, a massive financial machine that needed constant feeding. And there was only one person whose name was above the door: Ryan Kaji. A literal child. They were running more than 10 channels simultaneously, producing up to 25 videos every week. Ryan's entire house got gutted and converted into professional filming set. Lightning rings, camera equipment, props everywhere. His home stopped being a home and became a workplace. His entire life became work. Ryan's daily routine, breakfast, playtime, trips to the store, became content. Everything he did was filmed and monetized. And at this point, it became clear Ryan wasn't living the life of a child. His parents were using him as a cash cow. By 2018, Ryan Kaji was the highest paid creator on YouTube. Not the highest paid child creator, the highest paid creator on the entire platform. 26 million in a single year. He was 7 years old. He held that title again in 2019 and 2020. 3 consecutive years as the highest earning person on YouTube. This wasn't just ad revenue, this was an empire. Walmart toy lines, Colgate toothpaste collabs, mobile games, and Mackey's Thanksgiving parade balloon. But here's where things get really dark, because unlike child actors in Hollywood who have had earnings protection since California passed the Kogan law in 1939, child influencers had virtually no legal protection at all. Every single dollar Ryan generated legally belonged to his parents. All of it. No trust fund, no legal guardian protecting his financial interest. Nothing. He was the golden goose, and the Kajis owned the entire farm. And it gets worse. As the channel grew, the content changed. What started as a kid genuinely playing with toys he loved slowly shifted into something else entirely. What started as a kid genuinely playing with toys he loved slowly shifted into something else entirely. Sponsored segments, brand deals sneakily woven into videos, product plays into Ryan's hands. Toys, food, games, and Ryan would play with them, react to them, and endorse them. His audience, mostly toddlers and preschoolers between ages 2 and 6. Children who still believe in Santa. Children who can't read. Children who look at Ryan as just another kid like them and trust him completely. When Ryan picked up a toy and said he loved it, those kids believed him. Then they would beg their parents for that exact toy. But these ads weren't disclosed. There was no clear separation between Ryan actually enjoying something and a paid advertisement. So in 2019, the Federal Trade Commission launched one of the largest digital enforcement actions in American history. The target? Google and YouTube. The change violating COPPA, collecting personal data from children without consent and using it for targeted advertising. The fine was $170 million, the largest COPPA settlement ever recorded. For the Kajis, the impact was catastrophic. Loann confirmed it herself into an interview. They lost 70% of their revenue practically overnight. Think about it. A business model so dependent on exploiting children's data that when the protection kicked in, 2/3 of the income vanished immediately. This destroyed Sunlight Entertainment's operation. 30 employees, multiple channels, massive production costs, and now 70% of the money was gone. But here's the thing. Instead of taking this as a sign to maybe, I don't know, let their kid be a kid, the financial pressure went up, which meant pumping out more content, taking more brand deals, doing literally everything for an extra penny. Around this time, they rebranded Ryan's Toys Review to Ryan's World. It was framed as the channel evolving, but behind the scenes it was damage control, an attempt to distance the brand from controversy. But then came problems no rebrand could fix. Ryan was giving up. The kids who discovered him at 4 and 5 were now preteens. They would move on to gaming channels, social media, content that reflected their age. They weren't watching toy unboxing anymore. And Ryan's peers, other kids his age, weren't interested in watching a 12-year-old pretend to be excited about toys designed for a 5-year-old. Comments started appearing on the videos. His voice is deeper than mine now. How is he still doing this? Former fans saying they used to be jealous of his life and now they were grateful to be normal kids. Here's the massive issue Ryan's parents had created. Their entire brand, the merchandise, partnerships, channel identity was built on a specific image. A cheerful, excitable young Ryan. But now that he'd grown up, they wouldn't let him change his content or step back. That's too big a financial risk. So they kept making him unbox toys at 13 years old, even though his audience didn't want to see it anymore. And Ryan clearly didn't want to do it anymore. What did they do? Pushed harder. More uploads, recycled content, reposting old videos, running live streams on repeat. They tried gaming content and educational challenges to chase Ryan's older audience, but everything flopped. By 2023, Ryan had fallen from 1st to 17th on YouTube's highest earning list. If there is one moment that shows exactly what Ryan's life looks like behind the brand, it's his podcast appearance. Ryan's is the guest brought on to talk about his life and experiences. But watch the dynamic. It becomes uncomfortable very quickly. His parents do most of the talking. When Ryan speaks, which is rare, he looks at them first, like he's asking permission. When he's asked whether he enjoys making content, his answer is careful. Very careful. What Ryan said in the interview was that the version of his life he enjoyed is over. He doesn't enjoy playing with toys anymore. He wants to do what normal teenagers do: play sport, video games, hang out with friends. But publicly, he's not allowed to say that. His parents heard all of that, and their response? They decided to make a movie. The Ryan's World movie. $10 million budget. Major promotional push. It made $600,000 at the box office, losing $9.4 million. Theater staff reported screenings with 0 attendees. Not low attendees. 0. The IMDb score settled at 1.8 out of 10, one of the lowest ratings of the entire year. But their next move was even more disgusting. As Ryan began appearing less in content, the camera shifted to his sisters, Emma and Kate. They are 7 years old. Same playbook, same house, different kids. The internet's reaction was immediate. Ryan made you money, and now you are moving on to the next siblings. But there was some light at the end of the tunnel. Legislators started acting. Illinois passed a kid influencer protection law in 2023, requiring parents who profit from their children's content to set aside earnings in protected trust. California followed. Washington state introduced similar protections. These laws exist because of Ryan's story. His name will never appear in them, but the gap they are designed to close has his experience written all over it. Ryan's story isn't new. Macaulay Culkin made his parents millions from Home Alone and spent years in legal battles protecting his own money. The Olsen twins built a billion-dollar empire from early childhood, and the moment they gained control, they walked away entirely. The pattern's always the same. Talented child, parents who see opportunity, insufficient protection. Later, an adult who has to reckon with what their childhood actually was. Ryan's only 13. His reckoning is still coming. So where is Ryan now? The family moved to Hawaii in 2021. Ryan attends private school. His daily life involves tennis, skateboarding, swimming, and a massive love for animation. He's listed as creative director at Sunlight Entertainment, which in practice means occasional voice work and brief appearances when the brand needs him. The channel still carries his name, merchandise still carries his face, but Ryan seems to be quietly building a life outside the social media world. He wants to do animation. He said it multiple times. When asked what he wants to do when he grows up, he always says, animator. And honestly, given everything he's been through, that desire makes complete sense. He spent his entire life being directed, managed, packaged, and sold. Of course he wants to create on his own terms. Behind the camera, in control, the Ryan World's empire is crumbling, and it feels deserved, because this was never about supporting a child's dream. This was about parents who saw their 3-year-old's joy and turned it into a business model. 34 million at 4 years old, 30 employees by age 7, and now at 13, just trying to be a normal teenager who loves animation. The Kajis build their empire on their son's childhood. Watching it fall apart is what justice looks like. If you found this as well as I did, hit that subscribe button. We dive deep into stories like this, where money, family, and the internet collide in ways that will make your jaw drop. But I want to know what you think. Should parents be allowed to profit of their kids' content like this? And what do you think Ryan does next? Sell his stake in the channel, start his own animation studio, or something completely different?